They keep blaming it on Jeff. Oh, we're recording. Good. All right, guys, here we go. So, I have a very special talk tonight. Starting 7 minutes late. So, basically, the material I'm getting that I'm going to talk about tonight is from this book. We have some over here. It's called Speaking from Experience. Joe, you want to tell us about it?
The book kind of outlines the entire L. Ron Hubbard methodology of business building, how it's structured, steps to take, conditions that you're in, communication between the different columns, I guess you want to call them, the 7 columns that they have, as well as the power part of it that goes up and down. So you got a vertical communication and you got a vertical one. But it comes out with everything as far as putting it all together and measuring all the stats. So you're doing something based on a condition, and you're measuring the stats to feed it back into it, so you can now make corrections, make changes, but it's clear cut and it's methodical in order to keep on getting it over.
So every business has a flow from the start, from inception to when it actually delivers. Okay. So what happens is you there's divisions. I'm not going to get too involved, but there's divisions, and every business starts with raw materials, or whether it's a brand new person, but it flows through your business. And when it flows, when that particle, which could be a communication, it could be a raw product that you're developing, and as it comes out the other end, it's a developed product, but it flows. And if you have this organization chart or not, it always does the same thing in every business, right? So it's, once you understand how things flow through a business, then you can then take a look at the steps. Let's say there was 10 steps in the business. If step 3 is out, once you have this flow in, you know step 3 is out, and you put your attention on step 3, and it's not the whole thing. That's usually what happens with most executives. So I'll just give it to you, and then I'll come back and do a personal division of it. So up here you have an executive director, and you have 7 divisions. We start with 7. And you have 7 divisions. Okay, and like I said, you start over here with your raw product or whatever it is, and it flows through the organization to what we call a VFP. That's the valuable final product. Now, if I have a pen and I give it to Joe and he gives me $10, what's more valuable to him, the pen or the $10? Okay. Why? Because he gave me hard-earned cash flow, right? And I get the cash, because cash is power. So he gave me, so he obviously thinks it's valuable. So not only is it a final product, right? Because it's actually operational, but it's valuable to somebody. Now you could have a product that nobody thinks is valuable. In that case, you're not going to have an exchange. Now the only reason you have a lot of money or a little bit of money is because of a valuable final product. It's either the valuable product, it's a really good product and it's considered very valuable and it goes viral, and you sell a lot of them, you get a lot of money, or you don't have a valuable final product, or it's not considered valuable to somebody else, or they don't even know about it. It's a marketing issue, right? They just don't know about it. They don't know where to get it. I tell many businesses, because I have consulted, not only own my own business, I own 3 of them right now, but not only do I own my own businesses, but I consulted, for those of you that don't know me, around the country, I consulted automotive repair shops, body shops, that kind of stuff, 400 or 500 businesses a year. I would travel 40 weeks a year, sit with 10 or 12 or 15 business owners a weekend, and go through their profit and loss statements and consult them on, troubleshoot their businesses. And I can tell you this, it was few that could answer these questions. And I would ask them, okay, so there's these conditions that we were talking about, right? And I would ask them, okay, so is your business in non-existence? How do you know if your business is in non-existence? Well, you walk out the front door, you choose, you take a right, you take a left. You go to the first corner and say, hey, do you know where the name of your business is? ABC Printing is. And if they can tell you at that corner, then you're okay. But then go to the next corner. And very often you'll find that you couldn't go more than one or two corners, and somebody will say, they'll say, where what is? Means you're in non-existence, which is why you would have a problem with valuable final product, because it's not, they don't even know it's there. They don't know it's valuable, they don't know it's there, if you're doing something wrong with your marketing or your promotion, you don't know it's there. Does that make sense? All right, so just to kind of go over this real quick, because this is not my intention of tonight's lecture, I want to do this in a different manner. This is where the owner is. We call this source. You know why we call that source? Because that's where all your ideas are. That's where it begins. That's where you say, I want. The owner says, I want. So it's like, that's where source is. Source is the origination or the beginning of why everything else is going to be. Okay? One is where personnel is. So that's kind of like where you hire people and you kind of get them grooved in. You get them hatted, you say, this is how we do things, this is how I want you to do it. Which, by the way, there's two kinds of hatting. One is how to operate within the group, and the other is specific to their hat. So like, what is your business?
Med spa.
Med spa. So what does it do? What's the?
It's
facial,
it's a hair removal, facial skin tightening, scar, acne, scar.
Okay, so let's just take the facial portion of it. You're going to have a technician that specifies in that technology, right?
Yes, a nurse.
Yeah. So are you with her in that business? So what do you do there?
The assistant office manager.
Yeah. So he's got a different hat than she does, but yet they all have the same hat as far as how do they request vacation time, how do they get their paychecks, where they park their cars. You know, as a group, there's one set of rules. How you do things. As individuals, there's other sets of rules. So that's where this is sorted out in personnel. 2 is your marketing. Okay, or promotion. This is usually done on customers that have already bought something from you, and I'm going to cover that when I get over here. Okay, so that's like return customers, repeat customers. Okay, it's also where your sales are done. Okay, so it's like where the sales process is closed. So this is where you talk to the guy and he says yes, and then once it gets done there, then it goes into treasury. And here's where you collect the money, you bank the money, you balance the money, you keep track of materials and assets, you know, like buildings and inventory and all that kind of stuff is done in here. But basically, this main job of this person is to watch the inflow and the outflow and make sure what else.
The inflow is greater than the outflow.
There you go. Because a lot of businesses don't do that. Okay, they don't measure the inflow and the outflow, and they don't make sure that the outflow. They make sure that the outflow is less than the inflow, and it's really just that simple. When you break it down, it's just that simple. And then 4 is production. Going back to what I was saying, the facial person, this is where they would be. I don't remember your name, but he.
Okay.
So your office manager, you would not be in this. You would not be here. You'd be over here. Different division, right? And each one of these divisions, by the way, have their own valuable final product. So this whole group does one valuable final product, and it all adds up to the big valuable final product. Okay, and you measure it. You keep track of it. 5 is the most. Probably remember that word. The most missed division in every organization. Every organization, I see it all over the place. Quality assurance. What's quality assurance? Jeff?
Quality assurance? What, you're gonna get your product done, man?
What is it? I'm putting him on the spot over there. He's on his phone.
I'm just saying.
Quality assurance is making sure that Let's say that you're supposed to make an apple. Right? That's the valuable final product of production, you make an apple. But over here, it's a banana. What happened?
Somebody didn't follow an order.
We got some monkeys on the job, right?
Right.
The point is that over here, the owner said, I want this valuable final product. Right? Did we agree this is where source is? What is source? What did I say? What is source?
The original idea, the person who started the business.
Yeah, it's like, it's the ideas and what the owner wants.
Right.
Okay, so I have a question for you. Where should the owner check to make sure that what he wants is being done? Should it be done internally or should it wait till it gets to the customer?
Well,
That's why we have qualification, because we want to make sure that it's done internally before it gets to the customer. Because if the customer gets a banana and he ordered an apple, what's going to happen? After a while,
Down, yeah.
after a while, you're going to have a reputation. You're not going to be very liked. Right?
Or your Div 6 has to convince him that he really does want.
We haven't got that. Now you're spoiled. So division 6 is outside sales. Division 6 is number one job is to go outside of the organization and let people that don't know about the organization say, hey, we have this valuable final product, come check it out. Now, often in Division 6, this is where we have these things that we talk about as introductory services. What's an introductory service? Something that's not very expensive. Let's take the new business in the room. So give me an example of what's your average invoice? You know your average invoice? You can make a number up, I don't care. What's your average invoice? $100, $200, $300, $600? $75. Okay. So you could put together some sort of an introductory service for somebody who can come in for a $10 whatever. Just so they can come in and kind of get used to you a little bit. You understand? But while they're there, you can make an appointment for the bigger service. You understand? So the number one job of Division 6 is to capture identities from new people. And what do they do with those identities? They go right over here, Division 2, and Division 2 markets to them. So if they were to come in, like Joe came in and bought a book. If you buy a book, now that's an introductory service, right? So once you're in the central files of the organization, they can now be promoted. So you want to have something that they can test you and check you, right? You want to have something that could be tested, something that they could check you out and see how you actually do, because before they spend their hard-earned money. And the bigger your ticket items, the bigger your prices are, the more you're going to want to do this. Does this make sense? Is it clear enough? Yeah? Okay, good. Because I'm going to put this on a personal level. All right, so let's take the same concept that I just used there and do it a little bit more personal. Also you as the owner. Okay? Yeah? No? Maybe?
yes.
Thank you, Allison. So let's take Division 7. Okay? So we still have the executive director up there. So let's take this organization chart and apply it to your personal life. Okay? Well, this is something I've not done before, so just kind of go along with me here. So how could you do that? Well, first of all, in Division 7, and we tested this here in this club quite a bit. The most successful guys, the guys in this club, which for the new people, we have a membership of about 60 people, and they kind of come and go. Okay? We don't usually all have them in the same room. Sometimes this room has 4 or 5 people in it. Sometimes it's got 2, sometimes it's got 20. Okay? The most successful businesses that have 2x or 3x their income. This is proven. Ask Alan, he's the one that does it. So if they were doing 100,000 and they came in and applied this, they did 200,000 a year. If they were doing 200,000, they came in and applied this, they did 400,000. Here's the most important part, is the owner himself had to do what we call an administration scale. That's a formula that we start at the top with goals, and at the bottom we have ideal scenes. And we work it back and forth. There's a bunch of things in between. Then we work it back and forth to make sure that the business is actually going to work. My analogy of this is if my wife wants me to move a couch is over there. She says, I want the couch over here. I drag the couch across the room and I say, sweetheart, it doesn't fit. She says, oh, try it over there. I drag the couch across the room, doesn't fit. Oh, try it over there. In the meantime, I spent an hour dragging the couch around the room, right? Am I going to get fed up with that? Am I going to get tired? Am I working for a lot of reasons and not getting a result? Okay, well, what I'm saying is this administration scale is no different than this. My wife has a couch in the room over there. She says, I want to put it over here. Instead of moving the couch, I go over there with the tape measure and I measure the couch. I come over here and I measure this wall. Not going to fit there, sweetheart. Where else do you want it? Try it over here. I take the tape measure. Not going to fit there, sweetheart. Before we get all done, I say, oh, you can put the couch over here or you can put the couch over there. These are the only 2 places you can put the couch. How much work did that take? A lot less than dragging it around, right? This is how you should do your business. You should do the same thing with your business. The computer's freaking out. It's flashing, doing all kinds of weird stuff. PCs. It's a lot better. It's a lot better to figure out with paper and pencil 2-dimensionally how the room's going to be, right? Wouldn't you think your business should be the same way? Shouldn't you figure it out 2-dimensionally? Because here's what I do know. If you can't do it 2-dimensionally, you can't draw something 2-dimensionally, there's something wrong with it. Concept or something, there's something wrong with it. If you can't 2-dimensionally draw something, there's something wrong with it. All right, so in this particular case, we do this in a business, right? But on a personal level, what we want to work out is be, do, and have. If an owner did that, if an owner figured out what do I want to do, what do I want to be, what do I want to have, what do you think that would do to the business?
Give it more direction.
He'd be more
Simple.
focused. So that would be the Division 7. So if you were to go off, I'm just going to do a couple divisions. Okay. Then you were to go off into Division 1 and break that down, because it breaks down to 1, 2, 3 sections. Okay. Let me use my scratch notes here. The first one breaks down to personnel. Okay. So as a person, ask yourself, what kind of people are around you? What are they like? You're a business owner, are they business owners? Are they like-minded? Or are they naysayers? Dream killers? What kind of people do you have around you? And do they help you, or do they take away from you?
You're talking about in a business setting or on a personal
Personal, I'm
level?
talking about
That's what you're
personal.
talking about, okay.
Yeah, the first one was a business, now I'm taking the same concept and breaking it down on a personal level, which was the reason for tonight's lecture. I just backed up because we have a few new people here and I didn't want to confuse them on what I was talking about. So what kind of what kind of people are around you? What kind of people are you dealing with on an everyday basis? Do you think that makes a difference? Why? Why would that make a difference?
The influence.
Whether you want it or not? It's the amount of energy, right? Negative or positive. It's gonna be one or the other, not in between. So the next thing is your communication. What kind of communication do you have? What do you talk about? What are the topics you talk about? What are the subjects? What communication goes out? What communication comes in? Is this making sense?
Mhm.
Or am I out to lunch? What kind of community, what are you talking about? What kind of things are you willing to hear? What kind of things catch your attention? Do you get up every morning and watch the news for 45 minutes, an hour before you go to work? And then go to work and talk about the news all day long? Or do you get up and talk to your spouse about your business and your goals and where you're gonna go and your tracking? They're same hour of the day. What's gonna be the result at the end? Okay. Next is your ethics. What are ethics? Very simple. I could do a whole 3-hour talk on just this alone. It kind of goes like this. In any group, I don't care what the group is, small, little, it could be as small as 2 people in a family or as big as a nation. There's things called morals. What are morals? Morals are the rules of the group. If I go down on Whaley Avenue and drive 100 miles an hour, is that morally correct or immoral? Because the group says I can't drive more than what, 45 miles an hour or whatever speed limit is. Right? So the group has rules, whether they're written or not, they have rules. If you notice with your spouse, he does certain things or she does certain things and you do certain things. They're either set and written or they're done by habit and by everyday routine, but they're there. Ethics are you personally complying to the morals. So I might be able to go down Whaley Avenue 100 miles an hour and never get caught. But do I know I did it? Do I know I was wrong? You bet your booty. Will that affect me? You bet your booty it will. It will definitely affect me because it will always be on my mind that I got away with it. Okay? So here's the point. I'm not here trying to preach to you about rights and wrongs. The point that I'm trying to make is, what ethics level do you accept or don't accept as a person? What do you allow or don't allow into your life? What rights and wrongs are you accepting or not accepting? And more importantly, what are you allowing others around you to do with their ethics? Because we all know the difference between a hard to live with group and an easy to live with group is very simple. A hard to live with group is one where I go over and I stab Joe. And everybody turns their cheek and says, oh, I didn't see that. Would that be a hard to live with group? Yeah, because you're thinking, maybe I can stab next. I wonder why you got stabbed. Maybe it's me. You'll be afraid to come in this room. So go in that room, you get stabbed in that room. It's a hard to live with group. Easy to live with group is I stab Joe and every single one of you put my ethics in. Whether it's you call a cop, report me, make sure I get through to justice, however it is. But it's unacceptable. So how is that in your personal life? What do you accept? What don't you accept? What do you put up with? What don't you put up with? Makes a big difference. Okay, I'm going to blow through these last here real quick because we're just about done. Next thing is the next division. So we're going to call this 1. We'll call this 2. Is your dissemination division, right? So How about your marketing? I'm not gonna try your names, because I already told you I'm bad with names, but I have a question for you. In the last 5 days, in the last few days, how many people that you don't know have you told them what you do? Not enough.
No.
Allison?
Quite a few, actually. Yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't say a lot, but quite a few. I talk, because it almost always seems to end the conversation when I meet somebody.
Here's the point.
Yeah,
Be, do, have.
yeah.
If you're being it, will you have trouble talking about it? Will you want to brag about it? Will you want others to play your game? Will you constantly trying to solicit someone, whether you're in sales or not, to at least listen to your pitch? Because you're excited about it. You're passionate about it. It's oozing out of you. It leaks on the floor, it gets in their soles of their shoes, and it leaves tracks as they walk away. You get it? That's marketing. It's from the inside, man. It just falls out when you open, your breath goes out and it just tinkles out on the ground. It's passion. It's excitement. It's, you gotta check it out. Come on, man. You can't stop talking about it. Promo. How much promotion can you do about your passion? I could talk about this for how many days now? Promo.
Many.
You got business cards? You have in your pocket? Let me see your business cards. See, this is a test.
They have 2 different kinds.
You got it?
Because they all.
Good. Excellent. Everybody has some.
I actually do. I left mine at home.
Oh,
I was
it
traveling late.
How many did you give out today?
was on personal then.
I was in
How many
in the office. So.
in the office?
Did you give some up? Good. Excellent. Well done.
This is part of, when you come back, you know.
Exactly. It's a reminder.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I tell a quick story on that one? Jesse says, you know, let's do this when he's teaching seminars. This is the person who I work with. He says, you can never have too many pens or too many socks. Because he would go out on a lunch hour and buy socks or pens and just start talking to people as he was going through the store and introducing himself and telling them what he did and handing out his business card and giving them an idea what it was. So he encourages everybody he teaches to do the same thing. Just get out there. You don't even have to have a reason.
It's a reason.
Yeah.
How many people pay bills every month?
Yeah.
Whether you want to or not, right? Now,
Yes.
whether you want to or not. We're back to the ethics thing again.
All of it.
Do you put a business card in one of the envelopes?
Oh, no.
No.
I
Why
put it
not?
online. I don't send it.
Simple things. Just think about it.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you go to a restaurant? You leave a tip? You leave your card on there? There's a good test on your business card right there. If you leave your business card on a table in a restaurant, can someone just come by and pick it up and know what it's about? Or do they have to guess? Do they have to have a conversation with you to figure it out? It's a good test. Can you just leave it on the table? I like to put an offer, a call to action in the back of my business card, so there's a reason for them to contact me. Remember, marketing and promotion is a two-way communication. Every communication. Let me ask you a question. If I were to keep talking to you and talking and talking and talking and never gave you a chance to talk, how long do you think it would take before you would want to get the hell out of here? Why?
Not interested.
You want to participate, right? conversations two ways. So why is your marketing that way? You're constantly blabbing and blabbing and blabbing and blabbing. I'm not saying it is, but I'm just blabbing. Give them a way to communicate with you. Give them one of those things I was talking about, those introductory services. Give them a call to action, a way to communicate back. Whether it's, yes, I'm interested. Yes, I want to be on your email list. Yes, I want the free report. Yes, I'd like to watch the video, something, some call to action. So it's a two-way communication. So it's just not you going blah, 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 blah. They don't want to hear that. Click, delete. You want to have a two-way communication, right? So in your promo, make sure you have two-way communication. Make sure there's some sort of call to action on your flyers, on your videos, on your emails, whatever it is, just some call to action. Okay? Lastly, two more things and then I'm going to end off. The last thing is sales. How many people have a significant other? Okay. So my wife is not here. Her name is Pam. For those of you that know her. She definitely knows what she wants. Agreed?
He does need to be sure the camera's not that.
No, I got this computer.
Just she's watching.
No, that's okay. I just clicked it so she can see me. It's not always easy for me to want to have a steak dinner and go to the smoke shop. I like cigars. Could I do that 7 nights a week? Yeah, I'd probably end up in course for it, but I could do it. So if I want to have a cigar and a steak, what do I have to do with her?
Sell it on it.
Sell her on it. Got to get her agreement. That's sales. Sales is you enlighten them. Enlighten means you take them from one point of information to another point of information. Did Joe really just buy this pen at the beginning of this lecture for $10? No, I probably gave him examples and showed him how it worked and convinced him that it was going to help solve his problem. Then he decided he would spend $10 for one pen. Enlightenment means you take them from here to here with information. And they decide they want it. So there has to be benefit for my wife to let me go to the smoke shop and have a steak dinner. Otherwise, she's not going to agree. I'm done. No smoke, no steak. And final, and at the end of the lecture, because I started late, I'm sorry, Al. The next division, which is Division 7, it's actually Division 3, is income. As a person, an individual, if all these things are in or out, what's going to happen to your income? Suffer or increase. If they're in or out, depending on which one. If they're out, your income's going to suffer. If they're in, what's going to happen? And just in case you're curious, I don't want to bring this up too much because I am on camera, but for those of you that didn't know me, I was in the used car business for 20 years. 20 years. 20 years. I got scars to show for it.
How many years?
20. I learned very much that this little section right here affects that like this. Cheat a person. And it shows up here. It's like a ripple in a lake. Cheat one person for $10. And it starts as a little pebble. And it just keeps going. Now, fortunately for me, I was not on the other end of the used car market where I was one of those people that cheated. I don't know why. I was the other way, and my business boomed because I was an ethical, honest car salesman. And you know the reason why? I'm not bragging about this. You know the reason why? Because I decided one day I wanted to sell cars. I never had a used car lot. I didn't work somewhere. I didn't know what it was like. I just thought I wanted to sell cars. And I did it. I just kept honest about it. And my business boomed. I sold 30 cars a month myself when I first started. 30 cars a month myself. It was cool. So anyways, just to recap, just because I don't want, I'm not here on like the goody two shoes type thing, but this one right here is the one you should pay attention to the most. The rest you can see. So your ethics level and what you accept and don't accept in your world from your friends and your customers and your relatives and your family makes a huge difference on your income. Huge difference. Because at the end of the day, there's only one person you gotta live with. Who's that? You. And it's either you're gonna like it a whole lot, or you're gonna probably hide in the corner a little bit.
Well, if people sense it and they trust you, right, when you put out that aura of.
Remember when I was
ethical and-
joking around beef and it oozes out?
Yeah, that's it.
Well, one of the things that not being ethical does, the first thing it does is, as a natural thing, is you withdraw. And then you withdraw. And then you withdraw. And pretty soon you don't want to reach. And when you stop reaching, the oozing's over. The passion dies.
Yeah, marketing, promotion, and sales are all reaching.
That's right.
Out.
It dies. The passion dies. Because you die a little bit.
Cool.
Thanks for being here tonight.
Thank you.
Yay! The computer stopped freaking out. We're good.